Alrighty, hello friends. Hello. Good evening. I am back. Welcome back. Oh, thank you, Conan. Thank you. Let's see who is here. Shonis, hello. Patty. Captain Mal, Epsilon. Laser Ninja, hello. Sloth. ODM. Back just in time for Turkey. Yeah, Turkey week. Captain Mike, hello. How's it going, you guys? Hope you guys have been well. I was away for almost 2 weeks, right? I think that's right. When was the last stream? 11/7. Yeah, like 2 weeks, almost. Got any plans for Thanksgiving? I have a Friendsgiving this weekend. So just that. Other than that, I did just take a vacation, so just gonna take it easy and stay at home, chillax, maybe watch some TV, a few movies, things like that. Oh, Drew, what's up? How are you, man? Are you staying in the city for Thanksgiving or visiting family and stuff like that? 2 weeks without Diego was very people sad. Dad? What? Anyway, yeah, so we just got back from vacation. We were, for those who know, you might know that I was out in Turkey. Down to Philly for Turkey Day. Oh, nice. Gotta see it when I get back though. Yeah, just let me know, dude. You know. What's up, Jackman? Hello. How's it going? Yeah, so we went to Turkey. Just did like, I guess like two and a half places. We did Istanbul, and then we did the whole like Cappadocia region, which is like this region in the middle of Turkey that is sort of like, it's like small towns, but basically they're known for like hot air balloon flying and like old civilization, like cities and establishments and stuff. Like for example, like some of the popular things to see there were like underground cities built by, I think, like Indo-European people who were either like being persecuted by like you know, or like needed, or or like they're like looking for refuge, and they like built these like huge, super dark, like underground cities, or basically like caves. And it was crazy. It was super cool. And then obviously these underground cities have like kind of like been sort of like used by different people throughout the generations, like for example, like by like people in the Byzantine Empire when the Ottomans arrived to like to Turkey, right, and things like that. So pretty cool stuff. William, hi, Mr. Diego. Did you get your hair transplant over there? Yes, right. I of course got my hair transplant because that's what apparently everyone goes to Turkey for. Yes. So as you can see, I have a dire necessity for hair, so I went to get my hair done. So yes. Dire is crazy. Right. Yeah, so got my hair transplant, clearly. But yeah. Do you enjoy the food? Oh, dude. Okay, it was so good. So actually, like one thing that we were talking about, right? Like my partner and I, like we're like talking about like when we went to Japan. So we went to Japan and Korea in March, right? And back then, like we felt like a lot of the meals like didn't have as many like you know, like you order like a dish and it's like the dish and like there's like some sides and stuff, right? But like in Japan, like the sides are kind of small, right? And like I don't know, like for some reason, like a lot of the meals in Turkey felt like they're like very like whole. Like there's like a lot of like veggies and like other things in there, and obviously like we ate a ton of like cheese and olives and like you know, one of the national drinks of Turkey is called ayran, and it's this like yogurt based drink, and it's like super good, but at the same time it kind of like feels kind of healthy, you know what I mean? But anyway, the food was great. Like the ingredients super fresh, super yummy. Like if you like order a salad in Turkey, they basically give you this humongous bowl of like leaves, and like the olive oil is like the tastiest thing, right? Um, so yeah, it was really good. The food was spectacular. Really loved it. Obviously there's like a variety between like I guess like traditional Turkish like dishes and like more modern stuff, like and or like stuff that has been sort of like been accommodated to be more modern. So that was cool. So do you gain a few pounds from this trip? Yes, I did probably gain. I haven't measured, but I probably gained weight. But at the same time, yeah, ate a lot, but also walked around a lot. Like every day was like walking around a lot because we were like checking out different spots, like checking out like the mosques and like going to the museums and like walking around town just to explore the neighborhoods and things like that. So it was fun. Funny thing is, when we were in the Cappadocia region, I totally threw my back for the latter part of the trip. Like it was so bad. I had such bad lumbar pain. Like you know, like one of the places that we went to was essentially like it's called like, what is it called, Uchisar Castle, right? Like it's this like old like castle made of rock, carved out kind of like rock, and that sits on top of this like hill, right? Like in this town, and like you kind of like, you know, have like, you can like climb it essentially. And basically that day I like totally threw my back, and like the 2-3 days after that, like it was so bad. Like I was legit like this, you know, like I could not keep my back straight like standing up, or like if I like moved a little bit this way or like twisted this way, it would just like send like excruciating pain on like all over my back. It was horrible. But anyway, I feel much better now, obviously. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing this. But yeah, and then that was a reminder. I was like, yeah, I'm not in my 20s anymore, dude. Like, and I need to like work out proper again, because like I need to like work on my core and stuff. um but yeah, back pain is indeed humbling. It was like, holy shit, like is this how I find out that I really need to like work on myself a lot more? Like, yeah, like stretching every day, and like working on my core more and stuff like that. Anyway, it was bad, but I managed to, like, despite the back problem, we still managed to like tour the last spot that we went to, which was this the I guess the ruins of the old city of Ephesus, which is, you know, used to be like a major city of ancient Greece, and that's actually located in the Turkey side. So it's near the currently the big city of Izmir, and like from there you can take a train to this small town, and then from that town you can take like a small minibus to Ephesus, to the ruins of Ephesus, and like we managed to tour that, and that was pretty nice. Um, you're only as young as you think you are until your back tells you you're not. Yeah, that was the moment I was like, ah, I see now. I need to like take care of that. So yeah, that was humbling. But yeah, Loved all the cat photos. Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah. So if you follow me on like my personal Insta, there's like a highlight where I have like all my pictures and stuff. I can show a few, but yeah, it was really fun. It was a very fun trip, and I really enjoyed it. Alright, so let's get on to the build. So today's build is the QK65 Mk3. So this is obviously the third installment of one of the boards that has put Qwertykeys on the map, so to speak. And this is somewhat of a departure from their more kind of like classic looking design. So if I recall from the Qwertykeys, QK65 1 and 2, essentially they have a more like more angular, more like wedge-like type of case and look. And the Mark III is sort of a bit of a departure from that, from what I've seen. Kind of like has this like screen and has this like badge and all these like knobs and you know, all the bells and whistles going on, which is pretty neat. So we're gonna be building this. I know that a few people have already built theirs recently. I know that Patty was building hers the other day, and I believe Alex also just built his today. I actually originally was not planning on building this today as well, but just given the timing of the I think the QK65 begins, like the release is like officially this week, and so I just wanted to be on time for that. So I just decided to do the build today, and also, you know, to catch up with you guys and say hello and all that. So here we are. All right, so I did not yet choose what switches to use, but I did have a selection of 2 batches of switches that you guys can choose from. Basically 2 completely different types of switches that we'll choose from today, and I'll show you what they are. So for today's build, I have 2 options. So I had a batch of lubed and filmed OP Blacks. So OP Blacks I haven't used in a while, and I figured it would be kind of a nice switch to, I guess, switch it up from the usual like cherry or like even like the HMX stuff that you see out there. Another one that I have lubed is these Durox Shaka tactile switches. These are long pole tactile switches. These are the old Anubis switch recolors. These have 63.5 gram 2-stage spring, and these are lubed. But long pole tactiles, if you know, because I do see a lot of long pole linears out there, but tactile builds, I think they're kind of a little bit rarer and in between, and so I figured I should prep a batch of tactiles as well if you guys wanted to see either or. Probably just pick one and go with that. And so I did open this up because I was just looking to see what I had gotten. So we have an aluminum plate with no flex cuts. And then we also have I think this is polypropylene plate. A polypropylene plate with no flux cuts as well. We can choose both the switch and the plate shortly. Let's do a vote for the switch first, and then we can do a vote for the plate in just a bit. I only have one PCB, which is right here. It's a hot swap PCB. So this is a 1.6 millimeter hot swap PCB with support for, I think this is 625U, bottom row, and see everything else. It has per key RGB, step caps lock, and regular. And here is some ribbon cable ports for, you know, the screen and the knobs and things like that, the extra stuff. So there's our PCB, and then we have our foam, as well as our little plastic sheets as well for you know, placing under the switches. We have plate foam as well. And then let's see, what else do we have? I think this is just a card. that says Qwertykeys and it has a QR code for, I assume, warranty and instructions. And then here is the case. So the case that I got is the basalt gray colorway. So this one, I'll open it up here. Actually, just rips right away. Comes with the inner case foam as well. A few people have gotten this colorway as well. There are, I think, 5 colorway options for the QK65. So this is the anodized gray option of it. Take out the foam pieces. So there's actually 2 pieces of foam. One that goes on the case bottom and one that goes right under the hot swap PCB. I know gray cases always end up looking bluish to me, but maybe that's my lighting. Yeah, they can look bluish. Yeah, they can definitely look a little bluish. That's definitely it can depend. It definitely varies with the kind of light you have at home. So it also has these knobs. These knobs are for enabling USB mode or Bluetooth mode and such. There's like little buttons on the screen, below the screen rather. So pretty cool. The case has a much more rounded design language than it has ever before, I would say. And it also has a rather less conventional USB port placement on the left side. I find this pretty intriguing. Definitely a bit more akin to some other brands that you've seen with more like louder and busier design languages. So, and then the bottom here, the weight, it has, I think that's has a cover, but basically it says Qwertykeys and has a little doggo over here. It says QK65 Mk3. Looks like the bump-ons are already installed in this case. All right. Let's see, we have a set of stabilizers here. We have some clip-ins, the QK clip-ins. Not sure what the accessories part has. Let's see. Accessories. Okay, so we have the USB for if you wanted to put a dongle, and then extra bump-ons and the gaskets and screws. We'll need that. And then ribbon cables. Okay. Cute box. Yeah, I agree. So this was, I didn't show the full packaging, but basically it was this foam insert with a banderole, and then the keyboard case that I just opened for the keyboard inside of a a double thickness corrugated cardboard box. And then over here looks like we have a keycap puller, a paracord cable, a screwdriver, which is pretty nice with Torx on it, and a keycap puller as well. Pretty nice of them to provide all this. So essentially you can just go straight into doing the build without having any extra hardware. I don't need it myself right now, so I'll just put it back in the box. So it kind of just comes in like this. Alrighty. So let's get to choosing our plate and switch combo before we start. We could use some of the foam too, actually, depending on the choice. Put the foam aside for a second. PCB and plates. So let's do a... I don't think there's too many people out here right now, but if you guys would like to vote, let me know in the chat here. I'll put a switch vote. So linears, OP Black, lubed, and filmed, right? Tactiles, shakas. So these are long pole. Oh. Okay. You guys can vote between those two. So these are both choices that I would say don't appear as much in the scene nowadays, but I personally think are still relevant. At least OP Blacks, I think they're like a pretty solid switch that aren't necessarily Cherry MX or Gateron. As for the Shakas, I know people who actually really like the Anubis switches among the zero pre-travel long pole linears that I've seen. But there's a lot of new options now too, though, so hard to say how they do against the rest of the market contenders. Gonna open up this case. Okay, so just held by 4 screws. That's the way this board looks like. On the inside, we have a frame being held with other extra bolts over here, sort of like extra parts, and then we have our DB with the screen and stuff, with again the ribbon cables already pre-installed, which is nice, so you don't have to worry about it. That part is nice. Looks like we have a ribbon cable coming from here, I think, for these knobs already installed. Okay, so the switch choice is the OP Black. All right, let's choose the plate now. OP Blacks 1 plate choice. There is Alu full and PP full. You guys can vote again. 여보 보고 싶당. 여행 어땠어? It was pretty good in C. Also, if you were 여보, why didn't you come on the trip? SMH should have followed through. Should have come on the trip. SMH. Anyway, the interior has sort of like these grilled, like, you know, not grilled, but like, you know, this like channeled bottom, which has been a more, it's been more trendy these days, right? This like, you know, I don't know what people call it really, but there's this like kind of like rail channeled bottom thing for acoustic changes in the cavity here. But definitely see more of that now in a lot of boards. Still personally not a huge fan of ribbon cables myself, but you know, it does make everything nice and compact profile wise. So I find these little knobs pretty interesting. These switch between like Bluetooth mode and USB mode, which is pretty cool. So these are also pretty intriguing. Almost feels like a potentiometer, but a little different. Pretty cool. The case internals are nice and tight though. Like it's really tidied up. It's kind of cool that you see a red accent over here and a blue accent over here. So you kind of see on both sides, you sort of get different colors for accents. And they're pretty subtle. It's not like that overtly obvious that they're there because they're in between the seam here. So pretty neat. Definitely a very much louder design language now with this case compared to the previous versions. Space 65 vibes is actually true, yeah. All right, Alu and OP Blacks. All right, Alu and OP Blacks it is. Yeah, definitely gives me that Space 65 vibe for sure. I remember when the first Space 65 came out, I was like, that looks like an iPod Touch or something like that. You know? That was the kind of vibe it gave me. I was like, oh, I haven't seen one of those iPods in a long time, but it definitely reminds me of one. Do you guys ever feel that way? The soft rounded corners for sure. Yeah. I mean, hey, there's been designs for boards that say like, oh, we use the, what is that, the G whatever curvature thing from iPhones. I was like, oh, okay, we're going full Apple design over here. Anyway, maybe I'll put this later. All right, let's get on to the stabs and get this built up. More like Space 60 and arrows. That's true. Yeah. I guess this is really not a 65. Yeah, you're totally right though. This is definitely not quite a 65. You might call it a 65 only because it has the arrows, but like it's pretty much a 60%. And then you have these extra buttons, but they probably control something else that are not the usual 65% stuff, which is like, you know, page up, page down navigation stuff. So yeah, this is this is a 60 with extra space for arrows on the screen. Fat 60. Yeah, right. But we don't fat shame 60% here, do we? Because then you would be shaming me. Okay, so let's get these stabs done. So let's see, how many do we need? I'm gonna do full backspace for this. Oh, actually, I have to do full backspace because it's fixed. Got some extras. That's kind of nice of them to provide. These kits from these vendors like Qwertykeys and so on, which come with all these parts. So comprehensive nowadays. Like, there really is not much you can do in terms of, like, you can't complain. It really comes with everything you need. Just pretty awesome. Like, even the hardware is covered now. Like, back in my day, you would have to buy your own screwdrivers. Now you don't even have to. Like, they all come with their own. Diego, have you tried the Omni-type lube pens? Yes, I actually have. Funny that you mentioned, because I actually lubed these switches today. And so I actually was using one of those Omni-type lube pens to lube these. Do you want me to tell you like my impressions of the pen? Like, my personal impressions of the lube pens is that one thing that is not nearly as intuitive the first time you use them is, it kind of has this like top ratcheting part where you basically dispense lube out of the tip of the brush by rotating that. But it's like hard to know how much lube is actually going to come out from that end of the brush, because the this dispensing can be a little bit uneven, right? And so when you're you dispense it into the brush and then you apply the brush right onto like the surface, like your work surface, you just have to be careful, like kind of mindful of how much lube is on that brush, because sometimes it does have a bit more than I personally prefer. So that was definitely something that I was like, oh, okay, like you kind of have to get the hang of it. Like once you start doing it, like start using it more and more, like you realize, like for me it's like 2 or 3 clicks is, or I think it was 3 clicks, I think I usually keep it to that, and then I'll do like 3 clicks and then I'll just like lube with that. But if it's not enough, then I'll just 3 clicks again and do that. But yeah, it's not like exactly like an even amount. So in terms of using, like you do have to kind of get used to how much it's dispensing at a time. And they're correct, they are, if I recall correctly, Garrett Jeber from OmniType said basically they're not refillable because it would cost more to get a refillable part like made for that than it is to like source these pens. And so he just they didn't decide to go with basically making sure that we could get like a refillable pen. So yeah, they're not refillable from what I recall. So you do have to basically replenish by buying more, which is, personally, I don't love that. Like I feel like it's a bit wasteful in terms of the plastic and like footprint. But I can also see that production wise, like if it doesn't exist already, then refillable pens would be expensive, relatively speaking. But yeah, it's too bad, but it is what it is. I only have like 2 of the samples that I got from OmniType. They're good though. Like the lube pens themselves, like if you have it, it's useful. Like there's no doubt that I can lube stabs, switches from that. Probably switches number 1, like better to lube switches with them than it is to lube like stabs, because I feel like stabs, different parts require different like amounts of lube, whereas switches, you're just trying to accomplish like a fairly uniform coat of lube. So personally, I've had good success with lubing switches with the pen more so than like stabs, but it's doable to do stabs. I wonder if you can hack it open somehow. Maybe. I do wonder that too, actually. I feel like the problem might be that maybe the parts are, like the plastic is bound, and so it's not as easy to open up and close again. But I mean, I don't know. If you're ingenious enough with it, maybe you could. The problem with plastic parts is that if it's like a bound part, then and if it's brittle and it breaks uneven or something, like how are you gonna seal that back up? Wow, Diego, your hair looks so good. You can't even tell. Yeah, I know. Thank you. They're so good, and the price was so good. I only paid a few $1,000s. JK. That's nice if you don't lube things a lot. Yeah. I think the portability of the lube pen is pretty sweet. I think that is definitely the main appeal, is like that you don't have to have a clean brush and the lube like tub or whatever, and like you just have that pen and it's fully capped and it's fully enclosed, and it's pretty sweet. So for that it's good. I've heard that you can use a nail cuticle oil refill videos you can find to refill them, but it's not fun. Ooh, I cannot imagine that would be fun. Yeah. I think the one Whiplash produced was refillable. Oh, I haven't seen, at least myself. We love gender affirming care. We love gender affirming care. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Mr. Kupo. How have you been? Oh, I should update the build command shortly. Maybe I'll do that now after this one, or maybe like right now. Let's see. So we are building with OP Black switches. These are lube with 205 Krytox, 205 G0, and with 65 grams springs and films. They're going to be mounted onto an aluminum full plate. There we go. I think that should work. Yeah, there it is. Haven't used OP Blacks in like ages, I feel. I just found like this badge around my stuff and I was like, oh wow, OP Blacks. Been a hot minute. They were like super popular for a time, right? Yeah, it's a 2023 Switch. Yeah, like along with the Pobus, like they were all the rage. And now they're not. Now it's all about HMX and new Gateron, and I guess Cherry is kind of in this, like it's well established again, even amongst fairly newer people. Like I guess it's become better since, like, maybe I feel like maybe since the reveal of release of the new Nixie, it's gotten a lot better too. But yeah, I think the current Switch meta is like HMX, right? Geek, HMX, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, in terms of lubing, like if you're just doing this at home or / at a fixed workspace, like going back to that conversation about the lube pen, I would say I would just use a regular brush and, like, you know, like a lube container like this one, or like, you know, any container, whatever container you're using. But yeah. But for portability aspects, or like if you're moving around where you're doing the work, the lube pens are pretty damn useful. It's super convenient to not have to have all that together. I need to lube some switches. I don't even know what I have anymore. Yeah, there's a time I also didn't know anything about what I had, Kupo, and I had to just like go through the bags and like write down what it is on like a notepad or something, because as you said, it was just like constant, like it was like constant, like, oh, I don't know what I have. Oh, I'm gonna buy these. Probably good for this build. And then you know, like you kind of forget about it, and then you're like, oh, what did I have again? Oh, I'm just gonna buy these. And then turns out that you already had a bunch of those, or like yeah. And then, or like you're like, oh, I definitely had this switch, and then you check and you don't have it, and then you forgot that you like used this build or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, just gonna go through everything and try to at least just have a short list of what I have and what I don't, so I can like at least, even if I'm like reusing, like responsibly do so. I wonder if there'll ever be another $3 lubed and film B split, banana split meme switch. I wonder, but probably not. Probably not. I mean, the banana splits were like a product of COVID, right? Like lockdown stuff with the limited, with the difficult supply chain stuff, along with the hype, obviously. MX Blast, Gat Glories, Gat X. Yeah, like the other time, like before I went on my trip, I discovered that I also had a batch of Gat X still around, which was nice. So I prepped those for a future build. Oh. Oh man, I don't know. Sorry, I just got a DM and I'm like not sure how do I answer it. What I think. What did he send? I need to answer this question, but I have no idea how. But we'll see. I'll figure this out in a bit. I also ordered some Dynacap. I had no idea they were MX only. What the? Wait. You bought into Dynacap without knowing that these are MX compatible stems, Mr. Kupo? Like you thought they were OEM replacements for the stems? Because the domes are fine, but for the stems, yeah, they're currently OEM only. I mean, sorry, MX only. I've lost a passion for reading, Diego. Or like both. Are Deskies also MX only? Yeah, Deskies are also MX only. They're all of these other, like the only, I think the only OEM replacement makers out there are Metakeeps and I mean obviously OEM, like OEM people like Toper and PFE, right? And then there's Metakeeps is making like OEM parts soon. And who else was it? I think Blind Assassin was working on some, but I'm not sure those are done. In hobby of typing and keyboards, who has time to read for real? I mean, as it is, I feel like I've lost more so passion for reading when I have to do it for like my job all the time. it's tiring, you know. Lost a passion for looking. That's fair. I think yeah, the shopping around stuff is tiresome too. No read, no look, only add to cart. Yes, just swipe only. Swipe only is the way. Swipe, don't think, don't wait. Just pretend like you never did that, and then it suddenly arrives, and you're pleasantly surprised by your amazing decision making. Set and forget. Oh, I forgot about these. Do you want to put these P foam thingies and like plate foam thingies? Do you want a foamless build? I know that apparently Patty was told to do foam. I have no idea why. But have people built without foam? Like, I don't know. Did Alex build with foam? Did other people build with foam? Like that's why I'm always like wondering what people are doing, because foam is like one of those things that is, I personally am like, I don't put foam in unless I have to. Alex built with foam. Oh, he used a PP plate with some switch from Uniqueys. I'm not sure what they are. I have no idea what they are. Alex, switch pad gonna be too much? Yeah, I feel like, yeah, the switch pad is a lot, right? I do agree with the switch pad being a lot. Foam bad? I think everyone knows what foam sounds like. That is true. Unless you're new, of course. If you're new, you definitely don't know. They're like, what? Foam? No foam? Just do whatever. All right, we can do foamless. We can do foamless. We can do case foam later if you guys feel like the board's not gonna be nice resonance wise. Where is the right column of the plate? There isn't one because there's a screen. It's a 60% with arrows essentially. It's what somebody else said, and I absolutely agree. It's basically that. It is truly not a 65% in at least the like classic definition of it, right? It basically isn't. I missed the vote. What are we building? We are doing OP Blacks on an aluminum plate today. Diego, what do you do on the plane to keep yourself busy? So let's see. On the way there, what do we? I slept a lot on the way there because on the way there it was a red eye for us. So you know, we departed at like, what time was the flight for that one? It was basically a red eye. So it was like leaving like in middle of the night, and then arriving like more like closer to evening local time, because the flight from New York to Istanbul is like direct. It's like 10 hours. So I slept a lot on the going flight. On the return flight, we played games a little bit. There's like Battleship. We played Battleship for a little bit. Because you can play with like other people on, like, you know, like other people on the plane or on the system, right? So we played Battleship for whatever reason for a while. And then we watched a movie. We watched Star Wars, actually, because I've been having my partner watch Star Wars because I introduced her to it. She knows all these plot things, but didn't ever actually watch the full thing. So we had watched episode 4 a while back, and I was like, hey, you ready to watch episode 5? And so we watched episode 5. So that was great. because episode 5 is basically like a masterpiece. Love episode 5. Probably the best one, I think. Steam Deck you have? No, I don't have a Steam Deck. I don't know, this switch feels a little tight. Gotta put it over here instead. Did she know about the Darth Vader "I'm your father" scene? Yeah, she did. She did going in, which I was like, ah. No, the worst part is like she was like asking me, like, is this where he's gonna go? I am your father. I'm like, I'm not gonna tell you anything. You need to watch it. Watch it and experience it yourself for the first time, please. I know it's all spoiled because this movie is old as fuck, but please just enjoy it for yourself, please. You know. So and then I slept a bit, and then I just read for a bit. Yeah, pretty much that was that. Are you gonna watch the sequels with her? Yeah. We're gonna go through everything. So my main motivation to have her watch all of Star Wars is truly for my personal gain. I've been meaning to watch Andor, but I don't want to watch it by myself when I realized that she likes, like she enjoyed episode 4 and episode 5. So I was like, why not just have her, you know, get through the full you know, release order and like all the canon stuff, and then we can watch Andor. So yeah, ideally we'll watch through everything. We're pretty slow about watching stuff though. Like I actually finished Arcane season 2 today. Like we watched like one episode like every now and then when we felt like not feeling depressed, basically is what we would say to each other. We would be like, do you feel like feeling depressed after watching Arcane? And I was like, no. So then we wouldn't watch Arcane, you know, because you fucking feel depressed after every episode. So we actually managed to finish. We are in our emo show and series era. So we recently finished Banana Fish and Arcane. Arcane was truly, it made me sad in so many ways. Thoughts on the Beetle 60 versus Numa? Ooh, that's an interesting comparison. I personally think they're a little different, right? I feel like the Beetle 60 has a much more like lightweight board kind of feel that I think the Numa is a little bit different from. The Beetle 60 reminds me of everything that's good about like the Keycult 160 and the Prophet, for example, keywords that are pretty well known, and does it quite nicely. It's pretty good profile, like in terms of like the design, and it's like comfortable to use. The Numa kind of reminds me a little bit more of like one of those like more premium cases that has PC components, right? That does have PC components, but then but then has like all the bells, more of the bells and whistles, like you know, with the way it looks. Both are pretty nice boards though. Just kind of different, you know, different approach to their design. So it's kind of like depends on what you're looking for. Like the Beetle 60 is a great board to have if you want something more lightweight, that still has that polycarb element to it. Numa is kind of like this more hefty, more kind of like big, you know, big presence on the desk, but still has polycarb to it. But it's a board that sounds and feels pretty good too. I don't think you can go wrong with either. It'll just depend on what your aim is there for the board. The Beetle 60 I think is gonna be one of those boards that's gonna remain fairly underrated, but I personally think it's a really nice board. I've been using it since I managed to build the proto, right? Like this unit here, and it's been pretty nice. It's been everything good about like the boards that it's inspired from, and kind of has a very like comfortable typing. Weird question, but what year had the best keyboard releases? That's assuming I remember what year had what. So that's a kind of a hard question to answer. You're assuming I remember all these things, right? Which, in full honesty, I don't. But I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, like, it kind of depends. Like, I feel like pre 2020, like 2018 or 2019 might have had some really good years of release. Like, it was like one of those 2 years, like, had really good releases in terms of like boards that have stayed relevant or defined the scene in very meaningful ways. Like, back then we have like TGR series of stuff like Jane V2 CE, different versions of the 910, and then like Key Cult also like put their TKLs on the map. Wilba put his thermal on the map, which kind of defined a new era for like leaf spring stuff. Like Key Cult defined an era for gasket mount stuff. Like they were like essentially trailblazers to that, to a good like at least in terms of putting it in the public eye. But like if you think of more like future years, like the scene has seen a lot of refinements. You have years where you have like banger after banger, so to speak, of releases, and then you're questioning yourself, like, is it about what impact they had, or is it about just overall keyboard quality goodness, so to speak? It's hard to say. Real tough question. I have no solid answer for it. It's kind of tough. But like, you know, some people might be like, oh, the year that Neo 80 released was the best, you know, like affordable TKLs for everyone. I don't know, man. It's like would we have O-ring 60s if as much as we do if like unicorn wasn't a thing, or like, you know, I don't know, man. These are hard questions to answer, truly. I'm sure. I mean, I hope you agree with me on that. I wish I knew though. I don't know what the subjective best would be though. Like, if it were for me, I would say trend defining keyboards are very important because they essentially define a whole generation of keyboard designs after them. But then that means you're giving it bias of being first. So it might not be fair. Yeah. It might not be a fair comparison to the rest. How are you spending a Thanksgiving, Diego? We're just actually someone asked this question. We're just chilling. We're just staying here in New York and doing a Friendsgiving. So we're gonna, you know, get together with friends and we're just gonna chill. That's all we're doing. I mean, in fact, the whole point of traveling last 10 days or whatever was to just take it easy. Like, you know, like avoid holiday travel and such. Like that's usually the worst. We really personally hate the holiday travel stuff. Like, it's just one of those things. I was just thinking how someone is typically in the hobby for a year or two, and the boards they have probably depends on the 1-2 years they're in the hobby. So if you're only in the hobby for 2 years, which 2 years would you pick? Oof. If I have to choose, oh dude, like I feel like probably if I had to pick, there'll be two periods I would pick. I would pick the period right before the big COVID boom, so like 2018 2019, where you had a lot of boards, still a good number of boards released, but by all these makers who are now considered kind of renowned because of their history and such, and also had like a lot of trend defining elements to them. And then if I were to pick after like COVID, or rather like post like 2020 or like 2020 and later, I would pick like maybe like 2023 and 2024, like a little bit distance between then and COVID, because production stuff had a big halt, so to speak, in COVID, like during the like peak of the pandemic and such. So I personally think there were like overall probably high quality stuff coming out after that, after people kind of like ironed out their shit and figured stuff out. HHKB, well, I mean, to be fair, if you consider HHKB, PFU Fujitsu, the US office, has had their more kind of like public presence in the community also after, sort of after the pandemic, right? So if you're into Topre, like, if you're into Topre, there's no way you wouldn't choose like now, like 2024 2025, like EC hype and releases and availability is at an all-time high now, I think. Like, sure, if you're looking for rare historical stuff, then, you know, harder, sure, but otherwise, like, it's so much better now. Custom EC parts available, easy kits for like MX boards. That stuff is crazy. That stuff is something that I did not even imagine we would have. No. When did DJR 910 come out? The first one I think was 2016, 15, 16, 16, I think. And then there are a few later, like there are a few iterations. There's like the CE, which was like a wedge instead of a shelf. And then the RE, which was the polycarb version. There was also an alu version of that, but basically it was like an iteration of that. And then I guess the ME was much later with the like the V2 and the V3, which is with the GAF. That was much later after the pandemic. SCN 910 OG was 2016. Yeah, okay, there. I still remember, fortunately. Yeah, I remember because I to this day remember the salt I felt of being like 1 second, no, a fraction of a second too late to 910 CE. I tried for the first come first serve, and I know I was a fraction of a second too late, and I did not make the cut. Sag. Also, hi Frank, how are you? All right, this is done. So let's put it together. So I believe this uses gasket mount. So I need to get those gaskets first. I'm good. That's good. How are you spending your Thanksgiving, my friend? Spending with fam? Actually, wait, hold on. How do these go again? These gaskets? I don't know the orientation of them. They seem to be sort of maybe like this. Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think they face downward like that. Okay. I have the Christmas shop. What the dads like? Fucking bags of charcoal. Dads do like bags of charcoal. You know why dads like bags of charcoal, dude? Cause with bags of charcoal, you can do KBBQ. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I don't have a charcoal grill. Oh, never mind. Me neither, though. Me neither. Also, you're in LA. There's you don't need a charcoal grill. You can just go out and eat somewhere where they have a nice grill. That reminds me, I gotta meet up with Mr. Beteasy. I miss y'all New York City folks. Hey, we miss you here. Well, hopefully work can take you out again here. That'll be nice. It was nice seeing you that time you were here. That'd be nice, yeah. Yeah, hopefully you got a gig out here, man. Is this how this goes? I think so. Alright. Looks like some extra screws, extra bump-ons. That's nice of them. Extra little thingies. Okay. Oh, I see. The ribbon cables are also extra. Okay, that's nice. So, is this how it goes here? Oh, I see. Is this a slot for this? That's kind of sweet, actually. Pretty nice. Okay. I think family trip might be in order for June or so next year. Oh, that's nice. June. It's a nice time to visit too, actually. Warm, though, that time of the year. June is the time when you start getting some more humidity around here, so it could be warm, but it is still not the peak of heat of the summer. So June is a good time. And you're past the whole grad season, you know, shenanigans, which gets really chaotic here. I have to go to New York City for wife's possibly new position work. Oh, I see. That's important. Frank, have you been in LA like for a very long part of your life? Would you consider LA like your home? I feel like I know people who obviously like were born and raised in New York and whatever, and like, you know, eventually moved out and they're now like in LA or like other places, and they now call that home. But like, that shit's hard to do if you're like, if you've lived somewhere for like long enough. Feels like it would be tough to do. At least my home, 1997, December 17 till now. Damn, dude, that's a long time. That's not easy. If you had to move, if you like, where would you consider moving if you actually had to leave LA? That's huge. No clue. I would hate to leave LA. Yeah, that's a tough question. Yeah. Do you feel like New York City is your home? Now I do. I mean, I've been living here for... Well, so the thing is, I had an interesting, like, upbringing and childhood, so to speak. Like, I moved around a lot when I was a kid. I've moved... I can tell you, like, times of... how many times I've moved in my entire life, like, since when I was born. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 before I left Mexico, at least 6. And then there might be some that I don't remember, so I don't count it. And then 1, so let's see, so 6 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4. So I've moved like 10 times in my life, like in terms of cities, not neighborhoods, cities. Like if I also count the number of times I've moved like places, like apartments or places, then it's way more. But I've moved cities and places like 10 times in my lifetime, which is a lot. Or, you know, it's a number, it's a good number, you know, it's a high number still, because there's people who have lived in specific places for so long. Alright, let's try this. Let's see if this works first. I forgot about the case foam, but if we feel like if we need it, we can put it in. So the trip to New York City for my wife's work would mean moving to New York City. She'll be working from home. Oh, that's good. At least it's remote. Yeah, that's good. But I mean, I'm just asking hypotheticals pretty much. Oh, okay, that works. Let's see. Does it actually type? Yeah. Okay. Nice. If it's remote, I'd go to the cheapest cost of living area possible. That's true. I would consider that too. The only thing about, so to speak, cheapest cost of living area is also the fact that you also need to consider that, you know, if, you know, like, don't you want some certain things to be accessible and such too? So that kind of stuff matters, right? As well, I think. Okay. All right. Okay, I think it works. I need to, and then yeah, obviously if you are a, it depends on what kind of work you do too. So like for Frank, who you know, who works in like the photography and that kind of business, like where you are so dependent on having clients, right? Like, and basically it's a short list of them in a way, because your network is built around those clients. Then yeah, you gotta build back up from scratch, and that's super rough. But I mean, if you're moving because you're working for a company, that's a very different story, right? So yeah, everyone has very different considerations when it comes to that. Okay, just gonna look at the Notion for the QK build. Okay, guide. Screen brightness, adjust current theme, switch screen theme. Okay, so oh, I see, this adjusts the theme. So I can show you guys what this looks like. So by pressing these buttons, I can switch the theme. So this is like sort of like, has like little modes. I think this is like typing. I think this is like a typing test essentially, which is kind of cool. And then you can switch to this dog. I think this is the time. Then there's this dog in space, and then there's this cat. I think if you type, it like shows a cat typing. I think does this? I think it just walks faster if you type. It's kind of cute. But yeah, if you, when you're typing, it kind of shows a cat tapping away, which is probably pretty cute. That's pretty neat. And then this knob is to switch USB and Bluetooth mode. This switch is to switch between Win and Mac mode. I don't know if this does anything. I think this, oh, this switches the screen, this display mode, which is nice. I think if you like type away like this, it like sort of shows different. Oh, I see. It's like maybe varies on the speed and stuff. It's pretty cool. This is nice. This is pretty cool. These are neat. Very nice. This is cool. I like these. There's this like, you know, segment display, and there's a regular screen. Pretty cool. Very cool stuff. They're at first seeming a little gimmicky, but genuinely I think they are pretty cool. Both the deskpad and sticker arrived safe and sound a few days ago. Oh, nice. I'm glad to hear it, Conan. I'm glad. All right. Let's see, what keycaps should we put on this. I was thinking something like maybe like Oblivion is kind of nice on this type of gray. Maybe something like that. Oblivion. I don't know what you guys think. Do you guys have any suggestion for a key set here? Let me see. GMK ASCII. Ooh, ASCII. I am not sure if I have my ASCII available, but I can check. Yeah, I think. Let me check. Actually, give me a sec. I'll be right back. If I have ASCII available, I'll put it on. But if it might not be, it might be on a board, and I have to go get that, and that's kind of a pain in the butt right now. So we might have to skip ASCII. If I don't get ASCII, I'll get let's see, something along those gray tones you like, right? Dolge? We could do Dolge. I have not gotten my new sets of Dolge, like the R5X stuff. Unfortunately, those are shipping like this week or this coming week, so nothing. I have obviously the original Dolge R5 sets. Boneyard. Boneyard, yeah. Boneyard could work too, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Yeah. I'll be right back. Let me check ASCII, and if not, I'll either bring Dolce, Oblivion, or Boneyard. One of those. Okay. All right. I'll be right back. Okay, so it turns out my set of ASCII is currently in use, so I do not have it available. So I brought Oblivion. Hopefully this is all the right stuff. Am I missing stuff here? I'm missing some stuff here. Hold on. Where's the tab key in? No, Is this one also in a different place? I'll be right back. Give me a sec. Okay, I am back. I'm so sorry. I was trying to look for my parts of the Oblivion set and seeing if I had Dolge, but they're on boards, and the boards are a little bit of a chore to get to. So I brought an alternative set that's kind of similar called GMK Nines. I'm not sure if you guys have even seen GMK Nines around in a while, but I have a set of it. And I figured it would be close enough. It'll be a little bit warmer of a set in this color. So I'm gonna try this and see how it goes. I can't believe we came from a single stamped stainless steel put in the QK65 to this. Yeah. Are you a daily coffee enjoyer, Diego? I do have at least 1 cup of tea or coffee a day. Yes, I would say so. But I tend to, I tried my best to limit myself to like 1 or 2 cups a day kind of thing, especially if it's coffee. Tea doesn't give me much of a crash, but coffee does, so I try to limit my coffee intake. Yeah, but I do enjoy coffee a lot myself. Weight, stainless steel, single stamped stainless steel plate weight. I see. And it's come a long way. Like QK and all these boards. Oh, whoa, camera's being wacky. What the? Hello, camera, stop being weird. What are you focusing on? Okay, it's being really weird. Just drink more coffee to avoid crashing. True. True, could just do that. Diego, do you know a Sony BKE inspired keycap set? No. I don't think there's ever been one. Maybe that's the one you should make. But no, I don't think I've known of any. Otherwise it would be like a mash of sets maybe. I don't know. You would have to figure that out though, I think. I don't think I've ever seen one. Sony BKE? I mean, Sony BKE is a Topper thing, so I wouldn't expect it to really see it in MX. Unless somebody already made it, but I don't think anyone has. I probably would have seen it before if someone had made it, but I don't think I've ever seen it. There's a couple of Dysa PVT-BK sets on KB fans. Yeah, I don't think I've seen GMK for that. Yeah, unfortunately. I don't really ever recall seeing that on GMK. This is the closest looking set, I think. What's this one? Oh, huh, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. No, I don't think I've ever seen a GMK though. I don't think that exists actually. So yeah, your best thing you could do is look it in PVT or something like that. Do I have an F barred key and where's my P? P. F bar. Oh, H as well is missing. 1. Here, I found it. It'll be fun to try and run a set myself. Yeah, do it. I mean, it's worth a shot, you know? Worst thing that happens is it just doesn't make him look, and it is effort, to be honest, so I'm not trying to be dismissive by any means. You do have to like convince people to buy it, right? It's a kind of a niche idea though, so you know, just I guess be cognizant of that going in. Presentation would matter. Only Sony set I know is GMK Beta. Yeah, same. That's the only. All right, we can put this cool looking leech on. All right, there it is. All right, here it is. QK65 Mk3 with GMK Nines on. I'll try to find GMK Oblivion for some other time off stream. Just couldn't find the rest of the keys. I'm pretty sure they're with my Hagoromo alphas, but I think I put them on a different board. Okay. So let's type. Oops, it's such a big window. Okay. Oh, you can't really see the screen from here. Maybe this view is better. Although the screen is maybe this one's better. It's kind of cuter. Okay, let me put the mic over. Can you put a photo of Kiwi in the screen? I could. I just don't know how to configure it yet. I think it's on the QK like instructions, but I need to find the where is the screen configurator thingy? I don't know how to do it though. That's the problem. Do you know how to do it? I thought I read it somewhere, but I'm not sure where. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, let's try this out. So turn that off. The music. All my keyboards don't have screen at all. Yeah, same. I mean, for the most part, I don't think I have any keyboards that I purchased for myself that have a screen because I don't really find myself using one. Okay, so this is a QK65 Mk3. Let's try typing on it. All right. So currently built with OP Blacks and a full aluminum plate. And we are currently foamless, completely foamless, okay? All right, let's try it out. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Oops. There it is. My first impression is that it's fairly muted, right? Like it's a fairly muted board without a without the foam. I think maybe putting a little bit of case foam probably would help with the volume, but it is on the more muted side. Also, these switches do sound kind of muted. These are lubed and filmed, but they're not lubed that heavily in my opinion. It's a decent sound though. I think it's a pretty nice sound. I do think the mounting being a pretty soft gasket mount, like it uses these little, you know, dumbbell point gaskets, right? They tend to be pretty flexible, so the board has quite a bit of flex. But and so I think some of the sound sort of dissipates like that. And so it's a little bit on the quieter side. I would say I would personally maybe consider putting on the case foam. I'm not sure how I would put the plate foam on though. I think the plate foam, I'm not a huge fan of plate foam myself, mostly because it kind of chokes up a bit of the sound and feel. Makes it feel a little bit stiffer than it needs to be, and so I personally prefer not to use plate foam, but in some boards it works quite nicely. I think this one probably doesn't really need it. With a louder switch, I think even just the case foam is probably sufficient. But in this case, which is a full travel linear, you know, it could be nice. But I personally would have my reservations over it. I think the case foam will do the trick. So we can try a bit of case film and go from there. But let me go through the mods and we'll do that after that. Okay, here's the mods. Here are the rest of the alphas. Yeah, overall the sound is pretty good. I feel like it could be a little bit tighter in terms of like a little bit extra oomph and volume, but we are using just regular, just standard full travel switches. With these OP Blacks are not particularly known to have a very strong like clack, for example. So definitely on the slightly more muted and softer side, but obviously these switches are pretty smooth, so they're pretty nice. I'm gonna try putting some case foam in, and we can see what happens. Is kind of stuck in there, huh? Okay. Come on, little guy. All right, there we go. So, I just need to remove this guy here. It's kind of hard to remove this with one hand here. There we go. So case foam, we have two very thin layers. So let's start with, looks like these are oriented this way. So they're pretty much perfectly fitted to these grooves. And then the other layer goes underneath here, like that. Okay. All right, now let's try it out. Hopefully I got that right. Okay. Because the worst thing that happens is the bottom screen thing doesn't turn on. Diego, have you seen the RF8X? Yes, I have. Is that the what's that name? QK, forget what their name was, but they posted an interest check on Geekhack, right? It was sort of like it looked a lot like the Nox 31. Looked pretty nice. I forget what the username of the person posting it was, but yeah, I do think I saw it. Alright, I think it works. I was in Topia back in the Noxray days. Fair. Okay. So, hold on, let me turn off this music here. We do get some extra volume here. On the alphas more specifically. There's a little bit of resonance on some of these edge modifiers. I think that's just naturally from the case, but it's not like particularly negative. But I can definitely tell there's a little bit of resonance there. All right, let's try the XRF. That's what it was called, the Noxray one. So here from this angle, you can see the screen, and you can try typing on it now with foam. With the case foam. Alright, it's now same build, but now this time with the case foam. Oh. Honestly, pretty good. I would say I would probably use a louder switch in this particular board. I think this particular board seems to be more on the muted side. I think the gasket mount and the cavity itself seem to not reflect as much of the sound, kind of up, but it's a nice and muted sound. I think kind of like nice for like an office setting. Definitely sort of long poles would probably shine on this one for sure. But nonetheless, fine to try different kinds of switches. I would say like maybe even like cherry mix tactiles would be pretty good on this. Just because it adds an extra oomph. But yeah. Okay, so I think people might get ads pretty soon. Oh yeah, it says it's gonna start ads. So I'll wait for folks to maybe come back if it's gonna hit, but I can show you what the board looks like now. Oh, maybe I should have unplugged it so I can show you the actual screen. So that's what the screen looks like, and you can switch it with this button. This one has like this it's kind of very faint, but it has a cat on it, and when you type, it sort of like types on it. Then there's this button over here that also switches this screen. But yeah, and then you know, it pretty much switches what this does. Okay, I'll wait for people to come back from ads, but yeah. But yeah, if you guys have any questions for me about the board or anything, let me know. But I know there's all these other streams happening right now for the QK, so I'm sure if you've already watched one, you've watched them all. Maybe HMX? Yeah, HMX would work pretty much. I have a question for you. Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Ask me. Ask away. Alright, let me restart the music here. How are you? I'm doing alright. My partner's jet lagged, so she's actually she went to bed, so I'm actually being very quiet right now, or trying to be very quiet. I'm like kind of jet lagged, so I'm kind of like a little out of it, but I did a pretty good job about staying awake during my flight coming back from Turkey. That because I was on vacation last week, and we went to Turkey and we're coming back, and this flight is like a 10-11 hour flight, so jet lag is inevitable. So I'm a little jet lagged. Like I already start feeling very sleepy now, but like I think I'm doing okay. Like I'm doing all right in terms of adjusting, but I'll probably take me the rest of this week to fully adjust to the time. Do you fly first class? No, I've never flown anything above economy. Even, you know, like how there's like economy plus, I've never been bumped up to it, which is kind of a bummer. I've heard of people be like, oh, I got bumped up to like economy plus, where I have like 1 extra inch of leg room, and I'm like, wow, how nice. And your seat has like a flare of red on the side that says economy plus. But yeah, no, I've never flown economy plus and above. Economy only. Okay. Those people are all paid agents of the deep state. Yeah, I've never flown business or first class. I would love to one day try a lay flat, like seating. I have all these points accumulated, but for this particular trip, I just didn't feel like it was worth the conversion for the flight. And so and also my partner's more the mentality of like, if we can fly economy, let's just, and we can afford to, like, let's just do that and spend that extra money, or you know, whatever it's worth, you know, spend it on something else like meals and travel stuff, or like even buying stuff, you know, like shopping and whatnot. So we tend to just be like, okay, let's just go do economy. Mr. Kupo has deep connection in the aviation industry. Really, Mr. Kupo? Please do. You need to tell them, be like, do you not know who you're flying, who your customer is? It's Diego, aka Lightning Keyboards, aka Poor Keyboard Crafter. Shitty keyboard crafter. Craftsmanship 0. just tell them. Just kidding. Anyway, so yeah, QK65 Mark 3. Honestly, I think the design, yeah, definitely gives a bit of that like Space 65 vibes that we were talking about. It really is just a 60 with arrow keys because these guys control the screens, right? These buttons and these knobs are for like that like extra functionality of like Win Mac and Bluetooth and USB mode. Like this is USB mode, that's Bluetooth mode. I think this is Win, or sorry, this is Win mode and this is Mac mode. But like yeah, it's yeah, when I switch it this way the screen turns on because it's Bluetooth mode. But I think the design itself though, like despite it having like despite it being so different from its predecessors, it's polished. Like it's all the parts fit together nicely and there's no like nothing to nitpick. Like I mean you can nitpick things like left USB, but you know that's a personal preference thing. Like nothing functionally is wrong with it. And it sounds pretty decent actually. This pretty much like a great board for like an office setting if you don't mind the screen there. Nitpick the screen? I mean, the display itself is actually kind of nice. Like, this is the functionality of the screen is pretty good. You like can open it and it'll like open up battery. Like you see this battery, Bluetooth 1, caps, Win mode. So like if I switch it to I think I can switch it to like Mac mode and it'll like switch that, which is pretty cool. Like I can press different keys and you know it'll like pop up. But like yeah, this is nifty in my opinion. Oh, there you go. It switches from the dog to the cat. From the cat to the dog. And you can switch parts of the screen with this too. Yeah. But QK made a classic 65. Yeah, exactly. So like you know, more classic options do exist. So this is perfectly fine. I think to be in their lineup, it's pretty nice. I actually what I do like about this design is these accents. I don't know why this has to stick out. Like why do we have a little label on this, or like a little I don't know. Are you supposed to like grab it from here? I don't really understand this thing. Like what's this for? A badge? I don't know what this is for. This is something I don't really understand why it's there. This part right here on the accent. But like other than that, like it seems to be pretty good. Trying to follow the Jelly Epoch design? Maybe they're trying to go for that like rounded look. But I mean yeah, in terms of the parts fitting together, the colors, they're pretty pleasant. For the weight, you know, can I remove this actually? This protector. Maybe I shouldn't have, but yeah, like it's you know, it's a little like whimsical looking. So if you're not into this like more like the logo Qwertykeys, it's a little hard to read, but it does say Qwertykeys. Yeah, a folder label. Oh right. Let me so I'm supposed to write QK65 Mk3 right here, or I'm putting all my keywords like this so you can like sort of sort through them one by one. I see. But I don't know. It is interesting. Yeah. Don't think these are buttons, but yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it, I think, right? It's nice. Can show you just like here. All right, so there it is. That's for our VOD. Screen, and then yep. Okay, so it looks like I'm pretty much done with the build. Let me know if you guys have anything else. But other than this, I will let you know that today I received an exciting item in the mail, and that is the single KBD X Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Gundam Haku. That's a handful. So I'll be building that pretty soon. I am currently planning on building it tomorrow night around this same time. I didn't announce the time beforehand because it actually was not scheduled to arrive until tomorrow, which was a little concerning. Obviously I don't want to do it on Thanksgiving night for I guess it doesn't matter because technically it's not oriented to Americans, right? So I can actually build it on Thanksgiving, but no Americans will ever watch it. But the plan is to do it tomorrow. I just need to finalize a couple of details with Elaine just to make sure that we're good. But yeah, I have switches. Like I have like MX Blacks, MX Browns, I've got X, I have like, you know, random like long poles here and there too. So I have switches. But I'm not sure what switches I'm gonna use yet. I haven't looked at everything in the package. I think I have an FR4 plate, so sorry if it's not an ALU or a PC or a PP or whatever plates. I think it's FR4, so you know, sorry. Every American will be stuffed in having food coma. FR4 is the best plate. Oh, you think so? Oh, I personally don't love FR4 plates, but I do think they can shine in certain settings. FR4 is underrated though. Yeah. CM3 plate one. Oh no. Do not bring the meme forth all the way there. It's too much. Plateless one? Wait. Can you use those, what is that called? PCB snap, key snap, with the Nux Rose ones? Can you use those as a plateless? No, you can't because gasket mount, right? So you can't. Yeah. I mean, like, it would defeat the purpose of it being a Kohaku design, which is gasket mount. So, guess not. Cause I mean, it would be a plateless, but yeah, it would defeat the purpose of that, right? It would be neat to have a like an adapter that did that same thing, but for those pour-on or isolation gasket mount ones. So like it kind of like elevates a separate tab into the platform, but it's still like sandwich, like a PCB sandwich. That'd be interesting. Yeah. Like 3D printed gaskets and turn it into a sandwich mount board. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. PCB, but still sandwich. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Anyway, so that'll be this week, pretty soon, probably tomorrow. And then next week or on the weekend, I'll be doing the Nama from Wuche Studio. That's been coming for a while. They've been delaying that release for a bit, and then I'm in correspondence to get the Synovia, the new Synovia from Bowl, from Bion, right? But it's being done through Bowl. And later in the month, I think there's an Studio board, the class 100 that they're doing. Yeah. Maybe design a bikini. Oh, sure, yeah, that would work. A little like half plate, quarter plate sort of deal. Boxer Duke, hey Duke, how you, dude? I'm doing all right, man. I was saying I was a little jet lagged from traveling last week, but other than that, I'm doing all right. Just hanging around, and work is work. Work is going okay. It's just gets busy at times right now. It's kind of like a little off, but yeah, it's starting to get busy again towards the end of the year. Getting all of our end of year things in line. It's always a bit of work. But yeah, I'll probably wrap it up here. Love your streams, by the way. Always happy to watch. Oh, thank you. Thank you. There's not many people today, actually. I'm not sure. Does it show up in my OBS accurately? On my OBS, it says there's only like 40 people. But, oh yeah, it's the same. Yeah, 40 people on the stream manager. So, today's been a pretty calm stream night. I mean, midweek. I also didn't announce it, so that's my fault. But I usually always stream on weekdays around this time, like 9 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. You know which color Synovia I'm getting? I think I'm getting the same unit that Extra Prius Please got, which I think is the orange one. So I think I'm getting that one to build. I think other than that, I don't know any other details. I haven't watched his stream. Like, I didn't get to watch his stream, so I don't know what, like, configuration stuff he got. But I think that's the one that I should be sent soon. Yeah, I'm just waiting for EVP and Bull to arrange that. Yep. Okay, I think it is probably time for me to wrap things up. But is anybody streaming? I don't think there's anybody streaming keyboards. Not many people on a weekday anyway, so we can shoot a raid over to... Who do you guys want me to raid? I'm thinking maybe... I can shoot a raid over to the Jang. We've raided the Jang before. The Jang does usually Lego builds, but he also does like other collectible stuff. I'm not sure what he's up to now though. He says he's in just chatting, so I wonder if it's still that kind of stuff. Oh, he is doing Lego. Oh, he is doing a steampunk timer library build with lights. Lube bricks. Okay, it's a Lube brick set. Oh, that's pretty cool. Nobody streams keyboards anymore, Diego. We're a dying breed. Oh yeah, I know. It's it's not many of us. I mean, who is there out there? It's Alex, me, Patty, Apiary still streams. Depends on the. Sometimes she does more, sometimes she does less. There's Kim, sometimes PB, sometimes Lamb, Extra Prius Please, Tyler, Sterling. I've seen a few people stream every now and then, like randomly, but like regularly though. Who else? Nihon Jam on his hours, Simon. In AU, it is 100% dead. That's understandable. It's hard. I mean, you have to stay interested to do it. So, hobbies like this move on. They move forward. So, I'm looking at my list. Sometimes Frank streams. Mushiki. I'm looking at my list right now. Like, I had a list of like streamers that I was like trying to keep tabs on to like tune into her streams, but CJ Buen I don't think I've seen him stream. Chu doesn't stream. Huru doesn't stream. Has Epsi streamed? I think Epsi also doesn't stream these days. Yura also doesn't. Jackie doesn't. Geo doesn't these days. Rumi doesn't. Super Switch doesn't. Mana Geek occasionally. I've seen Mana Geek online occasionally. Tim doesn't. Sad. Twitch partner Tim. Vinny sometimes will stream his builds when he gets new boards or building for friends. Yeah. It's quiet. Interloper doesn't stream anymore either. I see Keep Noob stream occasionally. Keep Noob, I just remembered. Lols doesn't really do anymore. Lolsax, he's too busy with other life stuff now. There's a time, you guys remember when Mr. Keeps came back for like 3 streams and then disappeared again? Sad. He's an OG, so to speak. But okay, well that's, you know, even then there's like 10 people, 12 people who still regularly do it ish. There's not many of us though. And then there's the YouTubers. YouTubers are a whole separate group of people, because then you have God Boki and you know, Margaret Chun and Scooped Bar, who, you know, there's all the YouTubers like Keyboard, you know. Yeah, but YouTubers are completely separate because, you know, they just focus on YouTube, right? So, but yeah, for Twitch streams, definitely rarer nowadays. When do you guys think I'll be the next to retire? Oh, I'll be sad. I'll be sad when I retire. I don't know when, but I think at some point it'll happen. Maybe if I get more life busy, it'll happen, you know. Damn, that'll be crazy. That'll be crazy. I don't want to think about it either. I hope not. I mean, even if it's a small audience who comes by and hangs out, I think that's the good stuff, in my opinion. I actually don't really care for having like a huge audience because it's actually really overwhelming and chaotic. I like the chill vibes here. When you have a kid, yeah, probably, yeah. If that's like within the horizon, it's 100% gonna stifle any extra time and definitely the space. So yeah, can't spell buh anymore when you retire. Yeah, no buh appreciators in the chat. When Diego Jr. comes, oh god. You know, I have friends who like talk about kids, right? But like, I hope my kids are not like me. Like, I tell this to people sometimes. I'm like, I was not the best kid, and I feel like my kid would be like so whiny, and like I'm chill like as an adult, but like I remember myself as a kid and I was like not a great kid. And I'll be like, I've always been like, yeah, if I have a kid, maybe preferably not a son, because I know that a son takes after their father quite a lot, and taking after me doesn't seem amazing, especially my kid tendencies that I used to have. I was a super picky eater. I was super whiny. All these things. But yeah, my kid will grow up to be an OEM top enjoyer. Damn. Kids derail your life like you won't believe. I mean, yeah, I have no doubt about it. I mean, I have friends whose lives have been derailed by kids too, and not in a bad way, in every good way, but still, you know. All right, let's wrap it up here, guys. Let's go raid the Jing. They're doing some cool Lego stuff. I think they're the only people currently raid who are doing like makers stuff. So, alright, yeah, see you tomorrow hopefully. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. I should have a more concrete decision by tomorrow midday. I have some work stuff in the morning, so I probably can't do that tomorrow morning, but I should have something concrete pretty soon. But yeah, the parts are here though, so that build will definitely happen, especially because the raffle for the Gundam Haku is like now for like 2 days. So yeah. Alright guys, I'll see y'all later, but I hope you guys have a great rest of your night and great rest of your week. See you very soon. Bye.